It's because. Right. I was going.
Sorry.
Crazy.
So I get my hair cut. There you go. I do because it's fine. It's a lot. Yes. That's good. I know.
Go ahead and call this meeting to order at 5:30 PM. Please rise to the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you can call the roll.
Wheeler. Here. Barsh.
Here.
Sluter. Here. Brenner.
Here.
Kilgore. Here. Johnson.
Here.
Swint.
Here. We have a quorum. We will proceed. Moving on to our mission, vision, and statement. Our mission is to inspire and prepare students for the next level of education, work, and life. Our vision is to foster student growth and build trusting partnerships between students, staff, family, and community. And education at WBSD number 7 will support our students' intellectual, social, and emotional growth. We will provide students with an innovative curriculum supported by various co-curricular activities. The outcome of our efforts will empower students to make a difference in their community and world. We believe in providing a safe environment where healthy relationships and student growth are priorities. Moving on to item number 2, adopt the agenda. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Any discussion? Call, you call roll.
Barsh.
Aye.
Luter. Aye. Brenner.
Aye.
Kilgore.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye.
Swint.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 3, showcasing schools, Williston Basin Career and Technical Education Center presentation.
Right, this is me. Nice and quick, right from the beginning. Okay, can I use one of these?
Nope.
Nope, okay, you're just gonna do it? Okay, you got it. All right, thank you guys for having me. Kenzie Brown, Williston Basin CTE Director. This is my favorite part of my job, so I'm excited to tell you guys a little bit about our center, what we've been working on. I put on building tomorrow's workforce because that is the main thing we are doing. So it is fun, it's exciting every day. We have Williston, Ray, Grenora, and Trenton. So we have our board meetings every third Thursday of the month. And then, so Corey, Sam, Brittany, and then we have Brent and Rick. They're from Grenora, and Ray are our board members. So that's a little bit about the center. And all right, we're just gonna go over some goals we had this year, what our mission and focus is. I'll introduce you to our team, what's coming for next year, some achievements, and some future goals. There's a pretty picture of our center, our staff. Here's our staff down here. This is our team. So people who didn't make the picture, that's why they get bigger pictures. But our key objectives for this year, especially my goals, were to increase student enrollment across member schools. My business manager got me those numbers before I left today, and we're up 10% from last year. So we just kind of finished on Friday for course enrollments and drop dates. So those are still moving a little bit, but I would say increased 10%. Our member schools, we've gone up about 50 students. We only started with 2 for our first semester, so it was easy to increase, which is good. And then I want to expand career pathway offerings, strengthen industry and post-secondary partnerships. So our partnerships with higher education, Williston State College, Bismarck State College, those have been main focuses this year. And then just those industries. We're inviting a lot of industries into the center. Last year being new was, I think a lot of people didn't know about us, so getting the word out. I just had a conversation with someone from Hess who didn't even know we had the center. I was at swim lessons at the Arc. And they're like, how can we get our staff in there just to see it, to use it as meeting spaces? So that's been kind of a goal this year, which has been fun to have those conversations. And then maintain high quality instruction and safety standards is always a goal for our CTE center. So here's our team. We have 2 ag education teachers, 2 full-time. We have enough ag numbers for them. Sealy's already on extended. I think we're gonna put Joe on extended next year. Their numbers are booming. So that's been exciting to see that flourish. Auto tech, aviation, business and marketing. Marketing was a new one that we had full-time last year. And that one's really taken off as well. All those class numbers are full. Work-based learning, we got a coordinator last year, Jana Jurek. That has been something that has been fun to see grow. We have 10 Trenton students and then 50 Williston students this year. So Jana's job is to connect them with industry. They have in their schedule that they go out and work during the day, but they also learn career ready practices in the classroom. So interview skills, resume skills, just how to be responsible employees, because that's what we hear from industry is we're getting a lot of kids that aren't ready for that yet. So we're teaching them those skills. And then construction tech, they're working on building a shed, building a house. They're busy out there. And then culinary arts. And we have 3 full-time FACS teachers, 3 full-time health careers teachers, along with our EMS, firefighting, and then welding. So they are busy out there and all of our classes are full. So new and coming soon, some things we've added this year. We added mechanical drives and hydraulics through Bismarck State College. So those are 2 really cool ones. And then they'll do AC and DC next year. And then they will have a mechatronics certification through Bismarck State College. So Bismarck State College brings all the lab equipment out. It's like hundreds of thousands worth of equipment that we didn't have to buy, and they bring it out. So they bring it to Dickinson one night and then they stay over, bring it to Williston the next, so the kids get the hands-on experience. And then the rest of the class is online. So it works really well. Dental assisting, we have 5 dental offices that we've partnered with. The kids have to get 300 hours to get their qualified dental assisting certification. So they do all the classes, they get CPR certified, they get OSHA certified, and then they get their 300 hours, take a test, and they are certified dental assistants. So that's been good to see. Adult community ed classes, we're gonna try that out this semester with some culinary arts, some welding. We have those on the schedule. And then we just did a CTE exploration. Last week was our first week of it. So we have a lot of industry signed up, a lot of different companies. Ned, thank you. So a lot of you have already heard me talk on this. So we have a different maybe company or industry energy we kind of put together. We have some business people coming in. We have someone every single week for these kids. They're going to come in and they're going to teach the class under Jana, our work-based learning coordinator. So they're just getting a taste of everything. Mostly for freshmen, sophomores, just expose them to different pathways, let them answer questions, maybe see videos. A lot of our industry partners have had great ideas. They've made videos. So I'm excited to see how that one goes. That was one I was a little nervous about, but we jumped right in and it's been good. And then we have CDL. We are going through Train ND, Williston State College, and the kids are doing online and then they'll do the hands-on CDL days. So that's been good. And then next year we'll finish with the mechatronics certification. We're gonna add law enforcement, and we got a second SRO at the high school this year. So next year I'm gonna steal him for an hour or 2, depending on those numbers, to have a law enforcement class. We're working with Williston PD to what that curriculum looks like to make sure that they're ready and get students interested in that field. And then we're gonna have pharmacy tech. We've had a lot of meetings with the pharmacies in town. They are in need of pharmacy techs, pharmacists. It's been very eye-opening just to talk to them, so they need help and hopefully we can provide some of those students for that. And then UAS and drone racing. I threw that out to Conley today. We're gonna get a drone racing team. Our esports have been really successful, so there's a grant out there for NDCTE that'll go directly for UAS and drone racing. So, and then hopefully get an IT teacher in there. So continued growth anticipated across our member districts. I think our smaller school districts, like Grenora, Trenton's been easier because their kids can come take classes online. Grenora's been a little harder just because of the mileage, but we got some of their students in finally this semester. And Ray has been great as well, but I expect those numbers to grow as we offer more programs and just work out those kinks of what a center looks like, because we never had a center until last year. And then we also have access for homeschool and private school students. So Williston Trinity Christian, I've talked to their board quite a bit, their principal. We have some homeschool students that come take classes and they enroll through Williston Basin School District, so we're receiving that funding and the kids don't have to pay anything, which is great for everyone. And then just equitable access to all programs is my goal. And here's just some pictures I added of, these are my favorite things to go through. If you guys ever want to come check it out. I love just walking between the two buildings and seeing kids building things, welding, doing some hands-on stuff. So those are just some pictures for you guys to see. And I think there's pictures on the next slide as well. And then we can go to the next one. All right, so our future goals focus on highly qualified CTE instructors. CTE has made it pretty easy for teachers to come from industry, which I think has been a game changer. Just for recruiting, maybe when people are done with their careers or they want a better, like we got our welding teacher, just wanted a better schedule for his family, and welding has been really hard to find. So just focusing on those instructors, making sure we are staying up with ongoing professional development, credential and safety training, whether it's in our labs or they're doing outside training. Focusing on those partnerships and community engagement, really focusing on Train ND, Williston State College. We work really well with Bakken Area Skills Center. They can take our classes, we can take their classes. Logan, local and regional employers. I really want to get people into the center, just seeing the space, talking to the kids. We have some really strong advisory committees. So just getting representation from all industries. And then next year, just focusing on those student outcomes, strategic growth, and then just following that board guidance and support. Our board's been awesome. So thank you guys from the school board and the CTE board. We just really appreciate the support. And then before I open it up for questions, we will be doing CTE month is in February. So we have a lot of fun events for that coming up. And our main big event is the open house, which is like our showcase where teachers have saved work or examples of what they've been doing. Kids will be there, students will be there guiding it, and that's February 11th from 5 to 7. So that's our big CTE event. And now I will be happy to answer any questions for you.
Dr.
I would just like to share, for those of you who didn't go on our Facebook page, that State Superintendent Levi Bachmeyer was here this past week, and he wanted to see some good teaching and learning, as I say. And so we went out to the CT Center, and Kenzie and Mrs. Larson walked him around, and he went into some of our classes. So just
Yeah,
showing
that's
off our
awesome.
stuff to the State Superintendent.
Yep, and he was on the CTE board. He's still gonna serve on the CTE board, but he's been monumental in our new funding policy we've gone through. So he's kind of known what's going on over here, and he's been very impressed and very helpful. So both good.
Board members, any questions? Comments? This is it.
Very great, very good.
I like seeing everything that's going on. I know a number of students are utilizing the programs for health. And then I know a few families whose kiddos are very excited about the dental hygienist assistant piece that's coming up. So I'm glad that you were able to get so many dentists on board with that, because that's a lot of hours that they have to complete. So very good job with that. And you and I need to visit privately one day, so.
Okay,
Call
okay, I'll call you, we'll get it on the calendar.
me. Very good.
Anybody else?
Like welding and say your auto tech, do they have any certificates when they complete those? Like, are they certified welders or anything?
They get like their OSHA training in the safety side. There's no certifications yet for welding. He's gonna work on that. He has to get his credentials still coming from industry. And then auto tech, they're like ready to go into industry. They have the safety certifications, but nothing like specifically for auto.
Okay.
That's a good thing to keep on the radar though, Arnie, would be interested.
Anybody else? Mrs. Brown, I've had the luxury of working with you since you came on and stepped into the role. The programs that we are able to offer over at the CTE Center, you are an advocate, your team, they do an amazing job. The high school does an amazing job getting everybody in there and really giving these opportunities to our students. I would put our center up against any center in the state. We have some amazing people over there, and these kids are getting guidance that's amazing. My daughter last year as a junior was able to get her CNA. Now she's a senior in high school. So before she even leaves school, she's already started on the right track. So I'm very excited for what we have going on at the high school, and we all are very proud of what you do. So thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Real quick, I just wanted to touch base on one item that we have down here in the front. I don't know if everybody can see that. It is the thanks for keeping us afloat. It was created by Rickard Elementary School for us for thanking the school board. So thank you, Rickard Elementary School and all the schools.
It's on behalf of
all
all the
schools.
schools. They were the chosen creators.
Yes. So each year a school gets to create one for the entire district, and we appreciate Rickard this year and look forward to seeing next year. So we appreciate doing this. So thank you, board members, for your time. Moving on to communicating with the public. Lovely script here. This one's always a long one. Bear with me. Public participation at board meetings is governed by district policy, BCBA. Meetings of the board are conducted for the purpose of carrying on the business of the schools and therefore are not public meetings, but meetings held in public. It is a policy of this board to afford the opportunity in accordance with the following procedures in North Dakota Century Code 44-04-20.1. Only items on the published board agenda or on the previous meeting's published agenda will be discussed at any meeting of the board unless the superintendent or a board member requests an addition to the agenda of a regular meeting and the board members present approve in accordance with board policy. No individual may speak more than once. Please state your name for the record. State the agenda item you are speaking to. Comments will be limited to no more than 3 minutes per individual. Public comment will be limited to no more than 30 minutes in total. The board has adopted policies governing patron complaints. The public is required to seek redress through these policies. The public will be prevented from commenting on a topic if it is governed by a district complaint policy and the complainant has not followed the procedure contained in policy and or the policy prohibits the public from bringing the complaint before the board. Concerns a topic that is prohibited by law from disclosure to public, such as a student's educational record. Undue interruption or other interference with the orderly conduct of board business cannot be allowed. Defamatory or abusive remarks are always out of order. The presiding officer may terminate the speaker's privilege of address if, after being called to order, she or he persists in improper conduct or remarks. Furthermore, any individual who is persistently disruptive of a school board meeting may be removed from that meeting by order of the presiding officer. Board members will not engage in dialogue during the public comment period. Questions may be answered by the presiding officer or an administrator at the following meeting or in writing at a later time. If you wish to provide any public comment this evening, please step forward to the podium, announce your name for the record, as well as the agenda item you are speaking on. After all that, is there any public comment? Any public comment? Any public comment? Hearing none, we will move on to item number 5, informational report to the board. This is the Champion 101 presentation.
Right, good evening. Excited to be here. Before we let Travis in, he should be in the waiting room, I believe. I just wanted to give a brief overview of what we're going to talk about. You know, as an activities department staff, we try to think about what we're really trying to teach our students beyond the wins and losses. We want to think about what skills we're teaching them that transfer beyond the playing field and beyond even the classroom and the walls of our schools, but as they get out into the real world. We're looking to add anything that was that we were just adding for the sake of adding it. We wanted it to be something that was proactive and intentionally teaching the skills that we already believe in, such as teamwork, responsibility, accountability, and character, things that will help them succeed once they leave. So our goal was to move beyond simply just talking about these values and begin operationalizing them into a meaningful way, something that has clear expectations, consistent language, and intentional instruction that they can grow and that can be sustained over time, not just something that we do for a couple of years because we have some students that really bought in and then all of a sudden they graduate and now we let that program die. So we were at our National Athletic Director Conference and got a chance to meet Travis, spoke with him about his program, made a few appointments to talk to him online afterwards. And I think there's some things that his program offers that's not new to what we're wanting to do. It's not a brand new idea. It helps push those ideas that we already have and in a way that we can intentionally teach those. So I'll kind of get out of the way and let Travis talk about his program, Champions 101, and then we can be here for questions or further explanation.
All right, thanks, Robert. First of all, just wanted to say thanks to the board for giving us a few minutes of your time tonight. I wanted to start by paying a public compliment to Robert. You know, he mentioned he and I connected at the national conference in Tampa in December. And, you know, I have the opportunity through our Champions 101 program to work alongside a number of athletic directors around the country. And I will say, you know, the one thing that always stands out to me in the partnerships that we formed is an athletic leader who recognizes the critical role the sports experience plays, especially in an education-based athletic environment. And in my conversations with Mr. Conley, it's been evident that, you know, not only does he have a deep passion for Williston athletics, but maybe more specifically for the individual people who are a part of that experience there at your school. And so just wanted to say, you know, how grateful I am for the opportunity to work with him and obviously excited for this partnership in the coming year. He asked me just to share a little bit about what Champions 101 is and what it's designed to do for people like those at Williston. Champions 101 is a sports performance and leadership development program. I've spent most of my life in education-based athletics. I'm zooming in tonight from the Indianapolis, Indiana area. That's home for me. Spent most of my professional life as a high school teacher and coach, and started this program a few years ago, really with a desire to use my experience to help support people who are navigating what can be a pretty important, but at the same time, pretty challenging experience. And so we created Champions 101 as a resource for people to utilize, regardless of the role they play in a high school or education-based athletic environment. So our programming provides support and resources, training and materials for athletes, for coaches, and for sports parents. And, you know, as Robert mentioned, I think, you know, one thing that's been fun for me in our conversations initially here is to see, you know, the alignment between his vision for what the athletic experience looks like at Williston and the programming that we provide. I will say that all of our partnerships. We've got about 50 partners in 15 different states around the country. And all of our partnerships really, I think, speak to a couple of important messages that we're hoping we can share with the people who make up our athletic programs. One of those messages is, of course, that, at our school, winning is really important, right? I think if we've created an environment of athletic excellence, then we should be doing everything we can to prepare and equip our kids to reach their potential athletically. And if you went to Williston High School, I'm confident you would probably see evidence that kind of development work is happening. If you walk by the weight room, you would probably see kids in there working in there to get bigger and faster and stronger. If you went to a team practice, you would probably see coaches there who were working hard to help their athletes build sport-specific skill. Champions 101 is focused more on the mental and emotional side of elite athletic performance. So maybe the best way to describe what we do would be, if tonight as a board, if all of you and me and Mr. Conley sat down together and our mission was to build the perfect athlete, of course, we would work hard. We would make sure that they were big and fast and strong. We would make sure that they had elite sports specific skill, right? That they were a great dribbler or passer or thrower or kicker, depending on the sport they play. But we also recognize that there are a number of intangible qualities, characteristics that really set the very best athletes apart, and in our opinion, really define the champion. So as Mr. Conley mentioned, that could be connected to their attitude or their effort. It could be connected to what kind of teammate they are or how coachable they are. It could be connected to, their response to adversity or the way they compete. There's a long list that we would probably make sure we included in that athlete building process. And that's really our mission, is to provide some insight to people in this athletic space around what their very best looks like and what it requires from them. So we've created an immersive athletic training experience for athletes. Our goal, our vision at Williston is that we'll provide training starting maybe even at the middle school level, and then for kids as they progress through the high school athletic experience. So freshman athletes will have their own experience in our program. Sophomore and junior athletes will have their own experience, and then seniors will have their own experience as well. Additionally, we'll also provide ongoing professional development resources for coaches. I think that's in our conversations has been a real priority for Robert. And I know, those people play such an important role in the athletic culture and providing some insight for them on how they can continue to learn and improve in their role. And then additionally, as I mentioned already, providing training and support and resources for sports parents too. I know Robert mentioned some of you are sports parents, and so I'm sure some of you have probably lived already the challenge that comes with that particular role. And, my opinion is that there are a lot of parents in the world who really want to do a good job, who want to support their athletes the right way, but don't always know how. And so Champions 101 for sports parents is really designed to provide a game plan for effective sports parenting and help provide some clarity around what this experience is really all about. So not only is one part of our messaging that winning is really important, that we want to help our athletes reach their potential, but I think just as importantly, we want to clarify that at a place like Williston, this experience is about more than just winning. I think as part of the education-based athletic experience, it's important for us to recognize that we have a great opportunity to use this sports experience to help our kids learn some valuable lessons and build some important skills that relate to success, even in life beyond the playing field. And so all of the athlete training that we provide is connected not only to helping them reach their athletic potential, but also tapping into the deeper purpose of this experience too, and helping to prepare and equip them to be successful adults, to be worthy of winning in their life, even beyond their time as a Williston athlete. So I'm extremely excited about this partnership and honored and grateful for Robert's vision and his commitment to helping his people continue to learn and grow and develop, and excited to work alongside him in the year to come as we kick off this new partnership.
There's one thing that we're excited about. Since I started, we were really trying to find a way to do like student leadership committee or developing student leadership. In his program, as the freshmen come in, it's an initial awareness of what it means to be a member of our athletic program. And athletics, but I think it can move over to activities too. His is based on athletics, but I can see where it can correlate. But as they become sophomores and juniors, they get enrolled into a leadership type committee training. It's something that I'd be willing to teach to them once a week. And there's 2 different lesson plans. There's 20 different lessons, I believe, 22 maybe, a first semester and a second semester, like a lesson A and lesson B. And so you can continually teach them new things as they progress through their high school career. And so as they're a senior, they've been able to complete section 1 and section 2, and now they can be implementing those things, being mentors, role models, those kind of things. And the sophomores and juniors are learning those things. So it's all a continuous language that they all get to learn and then implement, and it carries over throughout. And so now you're developing these leadership qualities in more depth with the students that you have in that class, with that curriculum, with worksheets, with PowerPoints, the whole bit. I think it's really impactful to have a specific intentional way of teaching them the things that we almost kind of take for granted, or we hope they learn by how we model and how we act, and things that you think they should just probably already know. I think it's good to teach those things intentionally. We talk about in athletics, if you don't teach somebody how to shoot a jump shot, well, then don't get mad when their form's incorrect. Well, that same applies to the mental side of things as well, with handling adversity, dealing with conflict, working with the players that you maybe don't like so much. We need to intentionally teach those things as well, so they've at least heard it once from somebody that's got the best interest in mind, and the best ways to do that, give them that support. That's all kind of in a nutshell. There's a lot to it, but we don't want to take up all night, so.
Board members, do you have any questions? Mr. Marsh?
Thank you for the presentation. Thanks, Robert. First of all, I think it's a great presentation. I believe in the program. Big advocate there. Certain things I'd like to talk more about are kind of what does the application actually look like for the athlete? Is it a mandatory thing? Who's implementing it? Is it coming from the activities office or directly from the coaches? How do you facilitate buy-in then? And then what is the expectation of the athlete from this? I guess having coached at the high school for 10 years it's hard to get coaches, it's hard to retain coaches. Is this going to be like an onboarding requirement for the coach? And so I'm just kind of talk through maybe just a day in the life of an athlete that's in this.
Sure.
And how that pertains to them as a student, and their workload as a student. And yeah, I just kind of the sustainability of it from that point. Sure. Is kind of where I'd like to talk.
Did you want to talk a little bit about the timeline part, and then I can chime in on the back end of it?
Yeah, sure. What a great question. So just to give you to maybe paint a little bit of a picture for athletes, kind of as they work through their high school experience as freshmen, our freshman programming is for really designed to kind of lay the foundation for those kids. So our freshman programming is what we call the Champions Club. That's an open invitation for any freshman who wants to join. Certainly if Robert or any freshman coaches wanted to mandate that certain members of their team were expected to join, then, we have some partners who are more intentional in their invitation, but essentially it's an open invitation for any freshman athlete who'd like to get involved. That requirement for them kind of follows like an independent study model where they'll have some virtual training lessons to complete, some study guides to finish. And then once those worksheets are done, they'll submit those to Mr. Conley, to the athletic office for approval, and then they'll be invited to join the Champions Club. As sophomores and juniors, Mr. Conley mentioned the Athletic Leadership Council. That's an individual nomination process. So, we're in the process of kind of working through what that selection process might include. For some of our schools, that's an application process for athletes. If they want to be a part of that leadership group, then there's a simple application for them to complete, and then they'll be accepted. For other partners, there's a nomination from coaches where coaches are selecting captains or leaders or influencers on their team to be a part of that group. And then once students have worked through the 2-year leadership experience, then once again, they'll be invited to complete the senior experience. That's an open invitation that we call Champions Elite. That's the top level of programming that kind of moves them back into that individual independent study model again. So there is some freedom for our partners on how they include or invite athletes to be a part. But I'm confident that kids will recognize, our desire to feel included. And I'm excited about, how we can continue to build and develop more and more of that inclusivity over the course of time.
Part of my vision is kind of working going from the end to the front of your question. I think it's important enough that we say, if you want to be a captain on your team, this is training you have to do. This is part of the things that you need to do to be a captain, because being a captain is much more than you being able to jump the highest or run the fastest. You need to be able to display those intangibles like you talked about. So I think that's part of our mandatory things as far as being a captain. Moving towards the other modules of it, I think the open-ended part for our freshmen is really important. And from the Coaches Academy part of things, we'll have our coaches teaching these lessons throughout the practices anyways. So they're going to be exposed to it, whether they want to be exposed to it or not. They're going to learn how to handle conflict, how to deal with some of these things. It's going to be ingrained into it because we're going to put an emphasis on making sure that we're coaching the entire part of the athlete, not just, what you can do for me with your jersey on. We want to be sure that we're coaching that other part too. And so we're going to be doing that from the coach's side of things. And I think the middle school part is really important too, to get this off the ground and get it running. We need to get buy-in from those that are 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders. Show this is what we do as a Coyote. This is how we behave. This is our standard. And so this is part of you being an athlete here at Wilson High School, is doing these things, going the extra mile. Bismarck's not doing it. Mandan's not doing it. Jamestown's not doing it. This is going to give us an advantage. We are doing more than they are with the time that we have to be successful. And once we get that buy-in, and buy-in's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a little bit, but the coaches that we have care about kids and want them to get better. And I don't see any reason why they wouldn't want to be all in on this. We want to give as much support and resources as we can to our athletes. Not every resource we have is going to be used by every athlete, but every athlete at some point could use any of these resources. And so we want to make sure it's available to them. So I don't care if they scored 20 points in the game or not. I want them to be able to handle issues or be able to find support or be able to deal with problems, not necessarily when they're in the school building, which is important, but as they grow and get older, or maybe it's somebody, a teammate on their team or a teammate in the classroom that they have to help get through something too. So if it doesn't help them, it'll help people that they're around, and then that'll just multiply out. So that's the vision for this.
Board members?
Yeah, I love the idea, especially starting in middle school and laying down that foundational work and just embedding it in the kids at such a young age is a great idea. When do you plan on implementing this or starting this, and what does that time frame look like?
Right. So we have to, do the behind the scenes stuff where we get the payment taken care of, and he He structures the program to fit the needs we have. So we have multiple more meetings to talk about things. I think we said in the spring was when we can kind of have a draft of what we want to do and look at. You know, we've gotten support from this from community members and from Kyle Foundation and other people that are willing to help us pay for this and take care of it. So it's got support in the community from some of our stakeholders. I think, you know, I just keep talking. I guess it's in the spring. It's kind of what we were discussing as full-on implementation or full-on rolling it out and getting it going. Is that still what you think, Travis?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, the beauty of the programming is that we can roll it out in whatever fashion is most appropriate for Robert. So I'll probably lean on him in terms of, you know, what our initial rollout looks like. But I would say certainly by the time we hit summertime and into the fall of 2026, we'll have this programming up and running completely in place and available for people in all three of those groups: athletes, coaches, and parents.
We've seen some success with some other things that we're trying to do, you know, with Arbiter and some other things, you know, behind the scenes, I guess you'd say, by rolling it out with specific groups. We've tried some stuff with middle school boys basketball for this season to see how it works and see what the kinks are. I think we'll probably try to do something like that as well. It's a lot easier to roll it out with one team and go, we need to fix this. We need to correct this. This is really good. We need more of this. It's easier to do that with one team instead of do it program wide with 700 athletes in one season and then try to make a change, because that's not really practical. But doing it on a smaller scale and then making it and having it go on the bigger scale, I think is a little bit better way to roll it out for us.
One more question.
Mr. Brown.
So you mentioned the tiers of freshman, this like expectation, sophomore application process, all the way up to the senior. So I don't know, I want to be a captain. I'm a freshman, but I play and I get more involved. And junior, senior year, I'm ready for some leadership. I can start from scratch, or I mean, obviously we have the enrollment, a lot of kids in and
Right.
out, have different grades. They can start from scratch, or how does that?
Right. So if we'll never turn away a kid from wanting to be involved in it. We've got the two different section A and section B of the lesson plans that we can get them involved in. I don't think it necessarily means you have to be completed with it. If you're wanting to do that, then let's get you involved in it right now. We can get you involved in it in the summer. We can do it out of season. It doesn't matter. The important thing that I think is our culture is not who we are, but what we do. This is how we do things here in Williston. And so whether I'm from Texas and I move up here, or I've lived in Williston my whole life, this is what we do here. And so when you become a part of it, whether you move in or this is just implemented, how we do things here will help drive our culture forward. And so if someone wants to be a part of it, then we want to keep bringing them on board more and more and more. And we'll find ways to get them involved in the curriculum. It's a once a week thing where we have these classes, so to speak. And so there's time during Minga, during other times where they may have off periods, or I'll stay after school with them if we need to in off season, and we can get them caught up. So there's going to be a lot of people that are willing to be there to help them understand what they're doing and help them forward. And then there's modules that they can do at a self-paced time that they'll be open to do as well. So if they want to do it and they have the effort, we'll make sure it happens.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Will.
Two quick questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So you had alluded that Coyote Foundation was willing to help out with the cost. Is there going to be a cost to students or parents?
Nope.
And then is there going to be a program specifically geared towards the parents as well?
So there's a module, and I started looking at it a little bit before our first meeting. There was 17 different modules, and each of those I think has 4 or 5 parts that's geared towards parents. Now, we're not going to say, here's our sports parenting modules, and all of you watch this, because if you don't watch this, then you don't know how to be a sports parent. That's not it. It's, hey, here are some things that people, it's kind of like when you go somewhere and you ask a question and there's 4 other people that had the same question. Here's something that can help you if you've got questions about it. There's things that help us word things better. So when we have our parent meetings, sometimes I don't word things exactly great, and I watch the module and I was like, that's a lot better way to say it. So it helps me as well to help us just try to communicate and us all be on the same page. I think it's just another tool, another resource that we can use to help build that relationship and help parents understand some things that maybe they're questioning, or maybe it just helps us reinforce what we want them to understand put in a better way.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, mine is, I have a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
I'll make them quick. Same thing, Ms. Willard stated, that you guys had mentioned, some funding,
Yep.
from community members, stakeholders. With that, potentially, if that was to fall through in the future, what cost would there be to the district? And is it something that we'd be able to sustain going forward if we started the program and we were potentially to lose? We have some amazing community members, but we should always still evaluate if we can maintain that after it started.
Right, we could have got it either way. Dr. Jermis and I have put together a plan to make sure that we are fiscally responsible and okay as we move forward. And so this is something that I think is important, that whether or not we had members that were willing to help us with it, that we would be able to comfortably sustain. Yeah.
That's just my concern, is that
For sure.
when we start it, we want to keep going with it. And I would
Yeah.
hate for it to be taken away because funding disappeared. And then just one other thing I wanted to say, Mr. Conley, I think since you've come here and taken over your role as AD, you've done an amazing job on focusing on more of the whole students, much as our BAR program does.
Thank you.
And I think what you're doing on the athletic side and the activity side is amazing. So I'm very appreciative of that. And I look forward to seeing how this results in leaders within our students. So thank you both for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Travis.
Student athletes alive, it's hard to find that these days.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Thank you. Moving on to item 5B, monthly financial reports. Mr. Arnold. Thank you, gentlemen.
I can't share. You can try now. So, again, just our monthly financial report. Couple things, in your weekly board update, I had a kind of an update from our auditor. And also in the OE6, I attached, because part of that was annual audits and things, so that was attached there also. But just briefly on our monthly financials, again, I mean, no red flags. We're still on track for everything. This is as of November, and also like I explained in the weekly update, is just that time frame from the end of the month to get stuff out for the board packet is just too short to close out the books and the bank reconciliation, all that stuff. So this is November. So you'll see that, I mean, our local property taxes aren't reflecting here, but we've gotten significant amounts of those in December, and then we'll get quite a bit again here in January. So no worries there. But the other thing that I just like to point out is our federal revenues, our reimbursements. So, you know, in years past, it's hardly had anything in it. But the things that we've implemented and stayed on top of, we're able to keep that cash flow going. And then we're not falling behind, which affects our fund balance and things. So that I'm pleased with what Emily and Shelby have been able to do and keep caught up on there. And then as far as expenditures go, we're setting good there. We're basically still on track for what the year is budgeted for. But the other thing that we're gearing up for now and what we started meeting on is planning for next year. So with Sloan opening up, what are we gonna need for sure there? And with any other movements and things that we're doing. So with the pre-K center, you know, what that's gonna look like and stuff. So And then I'll start meeting with the principals and the departments to kind of look at how I structured things this year, the good, bad, the ugly, and then what they would like to see for next year. So it's just, my goal is just to get everybody to feel like they own their budget and they're accountable for their budget and they're planning, so. And then our investments, so as you can see, we're starting to dwindle down because we're getting close to having Slow One done, so that was a huge part of our investments, so. And which is kind of good too, because interest rates are dropping, so we're not getting as much money from our investments, so. So we've done good in the last year with where we put that, and gotten some pretty good interest rates on that, and got a little extra money in the funds to help shore up some projects and things, so. Questions?
Board members, any questions?
I just have one, if I may.
Yeah.
The outstanding checks, I know that's always an issue when we have so many outstanding checks. What's the process that your department does to try to get those taken care of?
So, and the one thing too, like with this is that, you know, we've got payroll at the end of the month. So, I mean, there's not a huge amount of payroll checks, but then it also depends on when how close, you know, or when a Friday falls for the accounts payable run. But we do monitor those, and we, you know, look at the dates and try to either reach out and contact the folks, you know, if they lost it, you know, reissue and things, so. And then two, I mean, if we do have some stuff that we can't connect with the people on things, we're supposed to turn that over to the state and they do all of their unclaimed property or whatever with it too, but yeah, we monitor it, and I like to, we stay up on it, but not maybe to the extent that we do when we get closer to the end of the year, to make sure that, you know, we don't have that much out there, but yeah, we monitor it and stay on top of it, so.
Excellent, thank you.
Anybody else? Really quick, current on reconciliations, everything's looking good. Cross training, so if anybody disappears on us, we're covered so that areas don't reoccur.
Yeah, that's another thing too, is we're looking at our department, the business office, as far as especially like with purchasing, trying to streamline that so that it's easier for the departments and the sites. So and with that, we're making sure everybody knows what they're doing and what the other person does. And because I'm one that it's better, I mean, yeah, you have your job, but don't have a tunnel vision. You got to know what you're doing affects the next person or the person before, so.
And then just kind of in the update you gave us during the Friday update, the email that was sent from the state auditor. I know obviously this is a difficult situation because you weren't the business manager during that time, so you're still fixing some issues. He highlighted it was a cash issue just in terms of the way things were either reported or tracked. Are those issues that you have already dealt with since you've been here that are already kind of fixed those issues that may be brought up?
Yeah, and that's where we're working together on that because before I got here, the reconciliations were just done on a spreadsheets. And so like the checks weren't cleared out of the system, they tracked them. So from what I can tell, that some of that is because of that. And then I've switched over to, doing everything within the accounting system. So and that's part of what they're trying to hone in on right now is, where is that, it's there, but the recording of it is just kind of not quite sure. And so is it, is it those reconciliation adjustments by switching processes and systems and stuff, so.
Right, because we weren't using our software to its capabilities and we didn't have it truly working for our district at the time. So I understand that a lot of it was spreadsheets and they entered it and very easy to mess stuff up and not correlate it back to the system. So I do appreciate all your hard work. I know that it hasn't been an easy process, especially stepping into a role with the district that was dealing with requested audits that were brought from the state and now continuing that relationship. Do you feel like the following audit that will be starting right after, I would assume, so that we're on
Yeah.
time, that audit's going to be much more favorable to the district under your leadership
Yeah, I
in your
mean,
department?
The biggest part is gonna be that I know we have the documentation, and that's the biggest part of an audit is being able to prove. And so yeah, that'll be a huge piece of it, and then it'll just be determining, if we do have some adjustments from the prior audits, that how that'll affect this next audit too, so.
Well, I appreciate you and your team's hard work. I know it's not been an easy process. It's always a little more pressure on us as board members because this is one area that we're really scrutinized in. So that's why it always becomes a very important area for us.
Ties to many things for our bond rating or all of that stuff.
Exactly. So I do appreciate you and your team and make sure that they know that. And that we do look forward to hearing about it whenever we get it. I know it's not going to be easy, it never is. There's always findings. Show me a government agency that doesn't have findings, but we look to continue to improve on that. So I'm excited to see after this one, what you've done to really show that you're managing everything. So thank you.
And I'm sure that Michael Schur, our auditor, will come and present on those two so that he can explain and.
Right.
Answer questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Bet.
Moving on to item number 6A, operational expectation. Number 6, financial administration.
And we will have Mr. Arnold stay up here because Mr. Arnold is going to talk about our OE6, operational expectation. Superintendent shall not cause or allow any financial activity or condition that materially deviates from the budget adopted by the board, causes or allows any fiscal conditions that are inconsistent with achieving the board's results, meeting any operational expectations or jeopardize the district's financial health. So as Mr. Arnold was talking about, go through, and he's got 3 pages here of evidence of compliance. So if he's gonna sit here and go through every one of those, we might be here a while, but
I thought I could just read line by line by line and.
Hit the high points.
So, basically, it's just, with each of the like 6.1, 2, 3, and we tied those back to our current policies, operations, practices, procedures, attached our internal policies, or they're not really called policies anymore, but of how or why we're doing that, with a little explanation if there's some deviations from the policy and what we're doing to correct it. So I guess I'll just open it up for questions if anybody has any specific questions or what's like some more explanation or.
Board members, are there any specific questions to the information that's presented on operational expectation? 6, financial administration monitoring report that you need guidance on prior to us approving or requesting any more information going forward?
Good point.
Mr. Marsh?
We're currently navigating policy as it pertains to that reserve percentage. So since we don't have that established, and we're still working through that, are we looking here for maybe like a partial compliance? Or it's just, because that's obviously policy, we can't change that right now. We're navigating that change, so is there even a possibility to be in full compliance? That may be a question for Dr. Jones moving forward, but.
I would say under this OE, no, that more fits with that other OE, because this is dealing more with like guide rails and those kinds of things. So,
And one thing too with that, like we discussed in the last meeting, that I'm working with planning and, planning committee on coming up with a plan or looking at that to see if that's even doable. If we need to change it and stuff too, so it hopefully is highlighted and.
I just want to make sure we're moving in a straight line. We're not putting ourselves in a position where we have to backtrack because
I would agree with Dr. Germanson with this one specifically. That one's not necessarily referenced in this, so it wouldn't dictate. And obviously, we do know that we're working through that one, but on this specific one, I think we are fine where if the board feels comfortable that this would be, Dr. Germanson hasn't marked it how he feels he is, but from the board side, whether it's reasonable. And if evidence supports compliance. So I think this is much more policy related and guide road than that specific percentage.
thank you. I just looking for some background.
Board members, any other discussion or any other questions? Dr. Germanson? Hearing none?
so as far as I would say that, according to this, confirmed on all the evidence from Mr. Arnold that I'm in compliance.
Dr. Germanson believes that he is in compliance, board members. We would be looking for a motion on this, that interpretation is reasonable, and evidence supports compliance, or if we would like to request for follow-up or additional info, or that would be it. So. Sorry, Ms. Seaver.
I will move that OE6 is in compliance and that the interpretation is reasonable.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second, board members, any discussion? I just quickly like to say, I know this is, the financial side is a lot to work with, and that's why there's experts in the role, right? I do appreciate everything that you, Dr. Germanson, are doing and guiding Mr. Arnold and his team as well. So thank
They're
you.
doing a great job, so.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Barsh just said it. You two are working together amazingly well, and that's what we like to see as board
We'll
members.
just win powers.
Well, if you can call the roll.
Sluter,
Aye.
Brenner,
Aye.
Kilgore,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Wheeler,
Aye.
Barsh,
Aye.
Swint.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to item number 6B, results policy 9, engagement and communication enhancements.
All right, R9, public engagement and communication, implementing targeted communication strategies, measuring their impact. District 7 aims to ensure that all stakeholders feel informed, valued, connected, providing a shared commitment to student success and monitored and reported annually, as in our school board's annual report. And so I would ask that the lady that likes to communicate, Langford, come up here, please. Everybody saw our latest video on the school, our annual report.
Yes.
So,
Hasn't gone viral yet, but we're still camping it on.
listen, when you sent it out, there was 3 people watching. I think I have 3,000 people watching it. We just needed to add a little Dr. Germanson, and people want to watch it.
Oh, my, it's getting deep in here. Well, good evening, Paula Langford, Director of Public Relations in the PR and Comms Department. So looking at the goals here, we have goal 3.1, 0.2, 0.3, and I'll kind of do the high level. This will save for when we get there. This is our teaser up here. So as far as 3.1 is about messaging strategies. So we're continuously improving how we communicate and making messages more timely, targeted, accessible, which is a big one, and two-way. Parent Square continues to be our primary tool for targeted communication by school, by grade, by classroom, by groups. And we keep expanding what those groups are as well, to be used for things like Title VI, you know, that we can have a group to communicate there as well. Two-way communication occurs through Parent Square messaging, also through any community meetings that we've had, any of our online feedback tools, and school-based engagements such as parent-teacher conferences or other ways that we invite families into our schools, as well as good old-fashioned phone and email, all of those things. The district website serves as a central hub. We've been trying to continually increase that if there's information that we're putting out there, anything with some longevity to it, that we can then house it on our website. So you're not just looking through Parent Square apps for what is the school supply list, you know, that we have a school supply hub. And ongoing improvements, this is a big one and will be in the next year to ADA accessibility, as well as translation, just general navigation and consolidated information. And a centralized website calendar. So we don't have one place where you can see everything that's going on at the district at any moment. We are kind of working toward that. We have looked at that with activities. You can go and find as far as sports and things like that. But right now, the main thing is that we have the key family dates, when we have school, when we're getting out, parent-teacher conferences, those early dismissals, those key events, at least those are on the website. And families have a clear way to ask questions or share feedback. Of course, they have all their school-related pieces, but what was a big add in this last year is not just having a website feedback form, but just a more generalized info at Williston Schools or district office, which people are like, oh, that's who I want to contact. And those have been very popular, and those have been working extremely well to get the information passed on to the right person or answered quickly. And then the contact us page or about us page that has all those school level contacts as well, all the school secretaries and such. So that's going extremely well in continuing to enhance. The next goal was about communication training. So we were hoping that we could maybe roll out something more district-wide for communication training in this school year. The training roster was pretty full, and so we've been doing that more in one-on-one or small group as needed type of thing. One of the main pieces is ADA compliance and trying to get that rolling across all communication platforms at all levels. So we do have a goal of, actually, we have a mandated target date of next April of 27 that our size school will need to be in compliance, ADA accessible across the board. And so we see more and more on our website that are, but we really need to dial down to everybody. So not just throwing a graphic out, but we have to have the text to go with it and those types of things. So that's been improving, but we're looking to have a district-wide communication training materials and guidelines that are in development through our office, but to be on track to have that plan fully completed by the target date of June 26, so that we could fully implement it for the 26-27 and meet that federal requirement of being ADA compliant by next April. And then goal 3.3 is the annual report and community engagement. Of course, we have been putting out district initiatives, programs, and performance shared through Parent Square, the website, social media. Yes, we do have an Instagram. Somebody today was like, I know you're on there. Yes, we do. And then, of course, our local media, which is great. We will partner well and closely with them to help get information out. And of course, the driving factor is the Dr. G videos. I mean, if you're
Thank you
gonna
for recognizing it
yes,
publicly.
yes, if you're gonna be out there, you got to have a face, and that's what we got going on. So with that, then we have recently put out the annual report. So that'll be the website, Nathan, cue that up. And the annual report, we did share through Parent Square, the website, social media, and local media. Tried to get it out a little bit earlier. It ended up being kind of right at where a lot of annual reports are going out, because there's certain information that can be harder to get ahead of time. Just like last year, we made it in this fashion. You'll see some of the schools that do like a flip book style, which looks really cool. And but it's not very ADA accessible, and it's really hard to read on your mobile. So if you're looking from thing to thing, you're zooming in and out and checking it out that way. So this way, everything is connected and you can read it easily on mobile. And of course, it's ADA accessible and translatable because it's all on our website and they can pick which language they want it in. So this is how it's laid out. We will just walk through it real quickly. If you scroll down the page, there is a table of contents that you can always come back to, but we really want to encourage people to go back up, and there's a button at the bottom to view the entire annual report. Now, what we have found, we put this out as a link, and we had about, we had a certain percentage, we had 400 and some views, and then we put it out the next day with some highlights of it. And then we had a few more views, and then we put out the video, which had more engagement and a few more clicks. But we basically today, go ahead, next section. I'm just walking you through it because otherwise, even, you know, staff that might be watching this community might not have actually walked through it. And so we have a message from the superintendent, go on. And we're just doing a quick walkthrough. And here we have an overview, and this also includes a really cool information down below. You can go a little faster. And down below where we have our enrollment and numbers, and you can view by school, those types of demographics, look at what our, go ahead, makeup is. And then we have the school board. Now, it might be startling to not see your face there if you're on the school board, but remember, this is from last year. So that's why you're not on it. But so that there as well, honoring John Kasmer. And of course, this is a great place to highlight some of the big things that happened last year. Keep going. I like the visual of the picture. So no page is terribly long here, except academics, which is a little bit more important. And you can go through, it talks about how the engagement, the culture, what we're doing there, what we're doing for PD, and then of course, getting into the academic scores. A little bit of everything. And next section. We added to this, actually split it apart from academics this year so we could add things, not just like pre-K, but the McKinney-Vento special ed, our ML program, we did have that on there. By the way, that's where you can see the 34 different languages spoken by students in our ML program. Adding the out of school solution center, we added nutrition, wellness, and health. We didn't have that last time, so trying to just be a little bit more all-encompassing without being too long, and split off athletics and activities here into its own page, a little information about that. And then we have finances. Everybody wants to know that and see those graphics. So we have that as well as highlighting some of the big capital projects and deferred maintenance at the bottom there. And then we have maintenance and facilities, or facilities and maintenance, few highlights about what happened there in the year. And then we have, I believe, HR. You keep me guessing here. Staff and human resources, which of course is one of our most important pieces, and a little information about all of that. And then we have public engagement, communication. Go ahead. Community and family engagement. And of course, in their highlights where we started the district's, go ahead, district spotlight in highlighting our staff. And then this is our thank you page. So noteworthy is at the end here, we have, if you want to pause right there, instead of embedding like, here's this information or this information throughout the annual report, and then you start clicking on links and then you're lost yourself and you're no longer in our annual report. We just put them at the end, and here's everything we referenced. If you want to see, where did you get this information? If you click on academics, please, Nathan. And then you go, oh, okay, it's at the ND Insights. Let me go take a look at that. But then you've already gotten through the report. And then if you scroll to the bottom, we have an annual report feedback form, and we had somebody fill it out right away and provide some feedback, and that was great. And it was helpful, you know, good feedback. So, and then at any time during here, you can go back to the table of contents and say, I want to look at, what was that page? So if you want to hit table of contents, it'll take you back to the beginning. And so that's the annual report, and I made you sit through it because it took a long time to do it, so I want to make sure that, no. Basically, if you haven't already looked through it, you can see what does this look like. And then the last thing that we have on this is the SCOPE survey, which is a school communication performance evaluation. And the last time that we did that was in the fall of 24. And so we're going to be doing that in February instead of in the fall. It just makes more sense. And according to those that do it, they said that's a better time. And so we have that on the agenda to approve tonight for us to roll out in February 26th. And then I would kind of recommend, if you really want to have those results presented when we present this, that we could move this to May or June. And we could do the brief overview then, but it also is in OE9 and communicating with the public. And so we're going to be going over all those results, but at this point, we won't go over them until fall. So that's up to you. We can always just come back and let you know a brief update after we get them in the spring and then go thoroughly in the fall. So overall, the evidence supports full compliance with results 9.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yes, I would like to also add that Paul and Heather did spend a lot of time working on that. So just kudos. So thank you, Paul and Heather.
You're welcome.
Right, as she stated, I believe that I am in compliance with number
We're
49.
about to stay up for questions.
Board members, any questions?
I just have a comment, actually 2 comments. You do an excellent job. You're very much appreciated, and thank you. And please also thank Heather, not me, the other Heather. You need to get him some big heads to have in the videos.
He's already got a big enough.
Maybe for some special videos. I think that would be good.
That would be.
Board members, any others? I just want to say once again, Dr. Dermotson and your team, communications, and I'm really appreciative of how the whole district has accepted how open we are, from teachers to staff getting in on the videos and everybody being highlighted, students, and it's huge because there's so much buy-in in the fact with what we're doing. Parents are inundated with information that's good information of what we're doing. We don't hide anything. It's all right out there for everybody to see. And I know that's very, very hard to do.
Transparency. Yep.
I did forget one comment I was going to mention. There was a teacher in her class that I kind of stopped in because I'll do that. I kind of throw out I'm coming, but if nobody volunteers, I go find them. And so at McVeigh on Friday, I did, and the teacher was doing a really cool art project. And for her, it felt like, this may not be the most, like academic time. And I'm like, no, this is great stuff on a Friday afternoon. But she was very sweet and said, it really helps us to see those posts of what's going on, what's being done in other schools, and feel like, as far as being a part of the district, when you're staff in the district, to feel more connected to others across the district and within, and get ideas from others too. So I thought, I hadn't really thought of that so much, so I was going to share that with you.
I think from a board perspective, we couldn't say enough how proud we are of what we are doing to communicate what our educators are doing great, what our students are doing great, all our staff. I mean, just in maintenance department alone, the amount of work that's getting done, that previously some work was getting done, but now it's just being shown and everybody gets to see it. So very proud. So board members, if you'd be looking for a motion for interpretation as reasonable and evidence supports compliance unless otherwise stated.
I move that results 9, engagement and communication enhancements with the board is both reasonable and in compliance.
Second.
We have a second. Do we have any discussion? Paul, can you call the roll?
Brenner,
Aye.
Kilgore,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Wheeler,
Aye.
Bart, Sluter,
Aye.
Mint.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to item number 7, committee reports. Planning meeting report, 7A.
Okay, so we had our planning meeting on December 18th. Seems like that was so long ago already. It was a very, very long meeting, and all of us needed to get adjusted to meetings being longer. So we've made that adjustment. We have added Mr. Arnold to our meetings moving forward. The meeting that we had that focused on Mr. Arnold was more of bringing everyone up to speed and the background of what's been going on. And then having discussions about that OE5 that we need to be looking at and potentially making updates, changes, or keeping it as is in the near future so that he can, and Dr. Hermanson can meet the expectation that the board has given. I'm not gonna go through the whole entire thing. You guys have the ability to read it, but if you have any questions for me, please ask.
Board members, any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Wheeler and your committee. We do appreciate all your guys' hard work. Moving on to 7B Governance Committee report. We've been working through, and I quickly want to thank Amanda Denovan and her team. They have worked through a ton of policies and have them and been able to have them prepped and ready for us. So this officially will be the completion of the policies that we needed to review. So we were able to accomplish it before the end of the school year. So that's pretty exciting. So it was a ton of work, but the nice thing is we had people within the district that were really hammering down on it. So we could make sure that Mrs. Denovan and HR know that we really appreciate the
It
work.
was a great job with.
So there's a couple policies you'll see on here that we'll need some actual motions on specifically. There is notes for you guys there, but other than that, at the governance committee, we were working through policies. And now we're just gonna move on to the next part of our labor, so. Any questions? Hearing none, we will move on to 8A, approve Solon Playground bid. No, that'll be the next ones, yeah. Yeah. Yes, the item AA would be approved Solon Playground bid. We have a motion to approve.
A motion to approve the Solon Playground bid that was presented and approved by the planning.
We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion, a second. Board members, any discussion? I just want to quickly say I appreciate everybody's hard work on this process. I know that when you're trying to figure out the right things to go with, there's a ton of options out there. I know we got lucky that this bid fit both the price point we were looking for and it fit the needs of the district. So thank you very much, planning committee and Mr. Lippert and everybody involved in that process. We do appreciate it. The school district's working really hard, utilizing dollars where they need to be used. So the community can see that we're really focused on making sure that we are spending our money wisely and working toward being a very efficient district. So thank you. Anybody else? Hearing nothing. Paula, could you call the roll?
Kilgore,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Wheeler,
Aye.
Barsh,
Aye.
Sluter,
Aye.
Brenner,
Aye.
Swint.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to item 8B, motion to amend policy BFD, board member visits to schools with recommendation from the governance committee. There is a script to make it a little bit easier for Paula to keep track of these motions. So if anybody would like to queue up 8B with the motion that's there.
I move to amend policy BFD, board member visits to schools, as presented on the first reading and waive the second reading to expedite the amendment process per board policy BDA.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none. Paula, could you call the roll?
Who was the second?
Mr. Barsh, sorry.
Appreciate it. Johnson,
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye.
Barsh,
Aye.
Sluter,
Aye.
Brenner,
Aye.
Kilgore,
Aye.
Swint.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to 8C, motion to rescind policy BDAA, contracts supersede policy and regulations. Do we have a motion this is the same thing? There is a script there if anybody would like to tee that up.
We'll move to rescind policy BDAA, contract supersede policy and regulations, and that past practice govern on unit operations covered by the former policy until the board adopts a new policy.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Paula, could you call the roll?
Wheeler.
Aye.
Barsh.
Aye.
Sluter.
Aye.
Brenner.
Aye.
Kilgore.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Swint.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to item 9, superintendent consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the superintendent consent agenda?
I move to approve superintendent consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Board members, any discussion? Hearing none. Paula, could you call the roll?
Barsh.
Aye.
Sluter.
Aye.
Brenner.
Aye.
Kilgore. Johnson.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye.
Swint.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to board consent agenda, item 10. Do we have a motion to approve?
To approve the board consent agenda.
Do we have a second?
Second.
A second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Paula, could you call the roll?
Sluter.
Aye.
Brenner.
Aye.
Kilgore.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye.
Barsh.
Aye.
Swint.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to item number 11, board debrief of meeting. Mr. Johnson, you were the third member this time.
Yeah, like CTE impression, I like that enrollment's going up. I feel like CTE is a big part of this area. It needs to get more involved in the community as much as possible. The champion 101 thing, I really enjoyed that with that's gonna be geared to athletes, coach, and include the parents. And that really touches all, every person can be involved with that athlete all the time. Yeah, I like that we're moving forward with Sloan and getting the playground because it looks excited. I might go play on it and test the weight ratings and whatnot. Yeah.
Board members, anything else?
I just want to say the playground does look really, really cool. We had a lot of really fun discussions about that. I can't wait to go and play for the same reason.
Do we have a motion to adjourn? Your motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We will adjourn at 6:55 PM. Everybody, thank you very much.